All right, and welcome back to episode 3. We don't know what the name of it is going to be right now, but I am Coco Connors.
We didn't know what they was.
And I am still Gemini, no longer the 33-year-old virgin.
I wish we could talk about that.
We're not.
In due time. Oh, and I'm Shump.
All right, let's tell us a little bit about yourself. Nobody knows you that's listening, probably, besides that one person that you said listen to.
Oh, hi, friends. So I'm Shump. I don't know. What about me? Do I need to tell?
I don't know your life. Whatever the fuck you want them to know.
What you do though?
She 33. I don't introduce my twin. I don't know your life from your perspective. Bitch. Tell what you want them to know. They gotta give a little insight on you, ho. Damn.
Okay. So, I have 3 wonderful children. They're all outside right now. Yeah. That's about it.
So basically, her life is a sum of.
I'll remain a mystery.
Your life is what you want the people to know is you're a sum of she just fucked, she got some children, the end.
She did not fuck.
How else do you have children?
Insemination.
All right. So, I owe Yolanda an apology. We shouldn't have had the last one scripted, I don't think, kind of, because we wrote it out, remember? I don't think we should do that. I think we should have our conversation flow naturally. Have general idea of topics, but then we can always divert into some more shit as long as we take up the time to be talking about some shit. But I don't want to offend anybody who's listening to the podcast. If you're listening to the podcast, you know, these are just our views and opinions. Sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're serious. Let's not do that. I have a perspective on the podcast, though. Each one of us are right now going to go around and tell everybody what is it that they're bringing to the podcast, and we expect one of those facts from you each episode, actually. So just for example, if you girl, shut the fuck up. Damn,
I'm making my topics.
Girl, you ain't no. It's not like that. It's just free flowing conversation. I don't have anything written down. This is an apology. This is your apology, bitch.
Oh, and then you apologizing to me
because, oh my God. Listen, stupid ass.
Perspective.
Okay, listen, just fuck with me right now, Lana. Just flow with me right now. Okay, so damn, I was gonna lose my train of thought.
I'm gonna do 16 bars.
No, I'm not gonna do those 16 bars. So the reason I started the podcast was to give everyone an opinion and platform to express themselves, judgment free, no matter the background, gay, straight, blah blah blah. For too long in life, you know, people have censors over them and they feel like they can't express themselves freely. Well, this will always be a platform you can express yourself freely. And I am going to bring to the podcast individuality and self-expression and self-awareness. What about you, Londa? Oh,
bluntness.
My bad.
Pure
Gemini.
bluntness.
Pure bluntness.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And you, Sean?
So I feel like I'm a realist. So I'll be bringing logic to the table. I love to see things from different perspectives, and I'm very open-minded. So
each episode you will have some actual fact or scenarios going on about self-awareness and how I feel like you should handle it. You're going to have some straight blunt facts come from Gemini, the no longer 33-year-old version, but Gemini, the pussy licker. And then you are going to have Shump over here with your logic views, and she's going to have to look up something that was, I guess, I don't know, freestyle with this shit. Do it how you want to. I guess I don't know what the fuck y'all gonna do. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so tonight, great song. What was the song that was played? Just in case people don't know.
It was Calvin Harris, "Rolling."
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I like that song. Good song to vibe to. Y'all look that up on YouTube.
What do we feel like fucking talking about tonight, guys?
So
what's on your mind?
With me, like. Because I'm real family oriented.
Why?
So, just because I have a huge family, huge family, and my family's always been close, whether it's my mom's side or my dad's side. And so I feel like family is very important, but there are also some things within family that nobody wants to talk about. Like, nobody wants to, it's like secrets and things that we overlook or that we just try to, hide behind. Really just that nobody wants to talk about. And I feel like we should talk about it. Like, put it out there. And then I just, kind of want to get y'all's opinions about it. Everybody, listeners and, y'all. So let's start.
What are some examples? What are you talking like, gear us in this conversation? Because you could be talking about a broad spectrum of some things.
Yeah.
It could be anything. Are you talking about generational curses or some other shit like that.
Absolutely. You know what? We can lead with that. We can lead with the generational curses.
Ooh, quick question.
Yeah.
We are all in the same family. How many do you think? Which one did you first realize our family had that was a generational curse that you feel comfortable enough sharing?
I come from
no,
a
it's whatever.
Pervs.
Okay.
You come from what?
A family of pervs.
Okay.
How
is that growing up?
I mean, my dad sleeping with my brother's girlfriends and my brother sharing my other brother's girlfriends, marrying them, having kids by them.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is a family secret?
It hasn't been broken.
And her side of our family is not the only one with perverts. It's a fluid over the whole Cali crew.
That is definitely a curse.
All right, what about you? I know one family generational curse that we have, and it's all of us, everybody in it from every aspect, and it starts with our all of our parents and grandparents. Like a nigga know how to keep a secret, bro. Like they have shit like. My mom, when I went through some shit one time, my mama told me that my grandmama said, well, in order for somebody not to go to jail, we just gonna sweep this shit up under the rug and just watch him. He'll be all right eventually.
Well,
what the fuck?
But you know what? As I watch more and more TV that's real family oriented, like Queen Sugar or Greenleaf or something like that. I think that's just a thing. Everybody has their everybody has family secrets.
I was 7. Why? That's what I'm thinking.
I don't know. Because they was doing something they ain't have no damn business doing. Back then, and they don't want to face up to the truth, so you lie, and it just keeps getting passed down. Mm-hmm. Lies just keep getting passed down, bigger lies, and it ends up hurting in the long run. Though.
So which one do you pick as our family in our family?
Definitely that.
Curse. No, you can't pick the same one I picked.
Well, sorry, this is my topic.
Oh, okay.
So it was that though. It was that definitely the secret and the lies.
Another generational curse.
Sometimes it should be juicy though, especially when it be somebody in our age group in the family.
That don't make that shit right.
It is not.
Another generational curse is having babies out of wedlock.
Yeah.
My mama wasn't married. Well, my grandmama wasn't married when she had all of her kids. My mama wasn't married when she had her kids. My sister wasn't married when she had her kids. My nieces weren't married when they had their kids.
Oh, damn.
So, and I can, and not to cut you off, but I can definitely see how that's a generational curse because everybody thinks that's okay in the family. Like, okay, well, she did it, she turned out fine, when really she just as fucked up as the last person who did it. Damn, so definitely a curse because they think it's okay. Like they think it's okay to just.
They thought it was okay. She got married as the last one.
Just be having babies, just popping babies out. Like
yes.
There's no other way.
But could you look at it like that, or could you not understand and look at it from a situation of if you've ever been in a relationship with somebody? Because I mean, unless it was a one night stand, y'all just had a child. If you've been in any type of relationship with somebody, and it depends on the degree of love you have for that person, could you possibly believe some shit they say? You know how niggas are good at this shit. Yeah, baby. I'm gonna take care of you, girl. I'm gonna give you the world, blah, blah, blah. Speaking game, talking shit, like whatever the shit may be. And we get into a state of, I love him enough to, I believe him. He said we're gonna get married in a couple of weeks. He gonna buy the ring. We fuck tonight without a condom. There ain't gonna be nothing. Boom, I'm pregnant. What the fuck? Because one thing we do know about our family, it's a blessing and it's a gift. It's a curse and it's a blessing. It's a curse and it's a blessing.
What? I guess.
It's a curse and it's a blessing that we have some amazing sex and the women in our family is fertile. But women in our family is fertile. I mean, I just hear other people's stories. We're amazing.
No, you just got to be smarter than that. Like, that didn't happen to me.
But I mean, when you...
I mean, who's thinking on the first day without a condom?
Who's thinking about... Some people do it. It does happen, It happens.
I'm sorry, what did you ask?
Who fucking on the first day?
I mean, I don't know, but...
Wait, who...
Listen.
Who ain't nowadays?
Right. Okay, don't ask questions like that. You're new to the...
Hey.
Right.
Fuck both of y'all.
The next question, what are condoms?
Oh.
If we really being real.
Ain't no way. No fucking way. Oh.
Oh, God.
So how do you think we fixed that? How do you think we resolved it? Because, there's always been pioneers and shit, but it's that person that's going to have to be hated, maybe even threatened. But sometimes in order for shit to change, especially like something as big as generational curse, we're not talking about some shit that happens like 5-6 years. We're talking about shit that happens in every 20 years or every 15 years or every 16 years, depending on what age group your family falls in. Because it's not just the women. My dad is account for 7 children by 5 different women.
Yeah.
Okay, men can be out there too, just like you get a turn, the brains out, like damn, it's crazy.
It's the type of leadership that we have in our family. It's like what kind of standards are you setting? What are you telling your children about, morals and values when it comes to the lies and stuff like that? You know what I'm saying? So we tell them about having integrity and telling the truth, being honest, and all this other kind of stuff. And then
I'm gonna ask this question. So do you think our grandparents did that for our parents, and their parents did it for them?
I mean, no, not if my grandmama having babies out of wedlock.
Why does that?
Well, that was mine.
Why would that constitute? If I have a child just because I'm not married, why I gotta end up and not still be able to be a good father or a good mother?
I mean, it's not the question of being a good father.
You just basically said that. We brought in the question. Generational curses. Shump said leadership.
Leadership lead by example.
Yeah, so the first lead by example you get is your parents.
You can't lead by example. If
we're talking about generational curses,
fucks up shit.
I mean, how is that just?
It's like me expecting my employees to be on time for work, but I'm late every day.
Absolutely, that's a great example.
That's you could never.
That's real. My sound effects. But no, that's real. But I don't know. Maybe it's just a thing. Maybe it doesn't ever go away. Maybe there's just always going to be something. It's just always going to be something, and it's just. And somebody has to break the cycle.
I thought about
Are you going to be the one to break the cycle?
I honestly have thought about this, about a member of your immediate family, and several members of my immediate family. I'm talking about within our households, like immediate family.
Okay.
Not necessarily within our households, but like that we branched off, kind of like grandparents. I've thought about this stuff. Like I really don't know your grandparents, but I've thought about our grandparents and stuff like that, and like how situations have played out and people have turned out and all that crazy stuff. And I just feel like, does all of this generational curse and shit start by the simple underlying fact that we sweep any and every fucking thing up under the rug? And we just haven't realized that. We think there's just one aspect of the family, but you got to think about it. Because people have their different opinions and they feel the way that they feel about situations. A lot of times growing up, like, y'all think about it. Y'all know how big our family is and how immediate cousins we are. How often was it that you saw all us just hanging out, growing up throughout life? Like, all us. Because we all around the same age. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of us around the same age. We'd be off in cliques and groups, but we wouldn't all be like.
Well, I don't know. I think
once upon a time,
church had a lot to do with that.
Once upon a time, everybody used to go to Granny's house within one day. So at every point when Mom and them was growing up, hello, everybody saw everybody, like regardless of. Even your family too, because it's like her brothers and sisters and stuff like that. Like it's like the entire family used to be over there. I'm pretty sure that if her brother or something, which is your family member, relative, came over there, his children, siblings, and kids gonna come over there too. Shit. So it's like.
But you didn't really have technology back today. Well, back
so you
then,
had to if you wanted to go see somebody, right?
Like you didn't really have technology. So, yeah. This podcast was brought to you by Anchor, the easiest way to make a podcast. Anchor gives you everything you need in one place for free. And by everything you need, we mean you can record and edit your podcast so it sounds great. They even distribute your podcast for you, meaning it can be heard everywhere like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts, making it easy for you to earn money. So download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Yeah, so it's different. It was different back then than it is now. We text and
so you
FaceTime.
They felt more obligated, which gave them more time to spend together, which pretty much robbed us of that because everybody didn't fuck with everybody like that.
And now they for sure don't really fuck with everybody like that.
After a set of people have died, it's done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because you don't have anybody to go obligated to go be seen anymore.
It's kind of like, like on Big Mama's house. Like, after Big Mama had passed, like...
But my question is, when do we start and say, man, enough of that bullshit, basically? Because regardless of the situation, if nothing else, because we have such a large family, and a lot of our family is in one central location, like, everybody needs to get to know everybody and try to, like, man, because y'all have kids.
Petty.
We don't.
Pettiness.
But a lot of y'all got kids.
That's a generational curse right there. Boom. Pettiness. Because everybody want to be fake, like, not even kicking it with your own family members. Because what? Because you're holding on to stuff from years ago, and then and that's a lot. No, not possibly. That's what it is. That like that's been proven. Like asking people, and it's a mess because people can't even all get together except one time. We get together for funerals, and then maybe a reunion,
a wedding, depending on who having a wedding.
Depending and if you was invited, which is a damn shame because family.
I wasn't invited to a wedding.
I wasn't
a really close one.
Me too.
No, you were in that wedding.
No, okay. Well,
I remember that one.
Well, let's not get too personal, but just saying, it's a shame though.
I didn't know why. I think it was because we weren't talking at the time. It ain't no pettiness. It wasn't no pettiness in that situation. I think it was because we lack of communication, like over the times. Because I was hippie at one point in time, and I moved around quite often. Tupelo, New Albany, Jackson.
It's like, and you said when are we gonna put an end to it? When you start holding people accountable, like you need to stop doing this instead of people coddling other your family members. No, call them out on their shit. That's what family does. Like you can call your family out. If you can't call nobody else out, you should be able to call out your close friends and then your family. Like, bro, you wrong for that shit. Stop doing that shit. Like.
But what if somebody is stubborn in their ways about certain things, and and their cop out is certain personality traits that I don't care for type shit.
Well, it's exactly what you just said. It is. It's a cop out. Like, and it's just like once you know, yeah, it's like once you know how somebody is, you just you expect that from them, and it doesn't bother you because you already know what you're gonna get when they're around. Either you can deal with it, or
that's with everybody though,
or not.
It's everybody. It's anybody.
Who making excuses for people?
I'm not making an excuse. I'm just saying.
Who's the cobbler?
No, everybody has characteristic traits. So when you come around Londa, we expect a fucking laugh because she's gonna say something off the fucking wall, or she might tell somebody in the movie theater, "Hey, bitch, shut up."
That's not me.
From a complete stranger, like, what do you mean? Well, you're around us, Sean, Coco Connors around us. My name is Coco Connors.
Who needs to stick with one name every week?
I don't. I want to have a different name every week. My name is Coco Connors, and I am embodying Coco Connors.
Y'all no way.
Have y'all ever seen Dear White People? Even though they're not paying us to sponsor them, if y'all haven't seen Dear White People, please go see it because it's really good. They're on season 3, and I don't watch it all in one night. In a way.
Let's switch gears for a minute though. But I'm gonna if y'all don't mind, I wanna continue on the family topic though. Just because I mean it's important, and we're surrounded by them all the time, and we can't pick their ass, so we're just pretty much stuck with them. So let's talk about it. A big thing I think since we were talking about sweeping stuff under the rug, not being acknowledged is mental health, like within our families. Like I've seen so many times people. Talking about mental health and, just pray about it. No, go see a doctor. Granted, I am a Christian. I believe in God. I believe in prayer. I believe prayer works. But at the same time, God also gives common sense. You know what I'm saying? Like some things you definitely, I feel like you need to go. And if it's not just talking to someone, maybe you do need some type of medication to help you, not have certain thoughts or help you to deal with whatever it is that you're going through. And I just feel like we don't even want to acknowledge that in our community.
Unless it's very, 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 very prevalent. Because Yeah, that is true for one half of my family. The other half of my family, they have had no option but to know because lives have been in danger, and it's definitely been steps taken, and we are well versed and aware on the type of illnesses on their side of the family.
Yeah, but it's not.
That conversation always comes up over there. It's always talked about because we immediately deal with it. And
yeah, but we just talking about big name stuff. I'm talking about like little stuff as small as depression.
But you got to talk about.
And anxiety,
that's what I'm thinking about.
Stuff like that.
Everybody on their side of my family. Everybody wasn't like that. Everybody wasn't like that always. Like after talking to my grandma, I found out that like one of my aunts, she was like normally one time she liked to fight. That was her thing. That was it. But she said quote for lack of better words, she was normal. Like she didn't have no spells or like. And then one day, which I don't fully believe, but I do believe that one day she just basically like snapped, switched gears, and turned into somebody totally fucking the fuck different. Or they not telling me that part of it.
Well, I believe that it's just like any illness.
And then she had a daughter like this.
If it doesn't get treated, it gets worse or it goes away. I mean, it could go either way. I think with mental health, it seems like it kind of progresses.
But you're right, it's not talked about enough, and if it depends on what the person is going through. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I've been depressed before, and it still happens sometimes. Very often. But one time I was depressed for like 6 months. Like, I literally went to work so I could have an apartment to have, and I went home. Didn't nobody have a key to my spot. Then I wasn't cutting on the TV. I don't even think I had a TV at the time. I know I had a bed that one of my managers had gave to me, and if I wasn't at work, I was at home. I think I might have went grocery shopping once.
You couldn't afford
or twice in 6 months.
Because you was fucked up. But it's okay.
So it just depends on which level of mental illness you are in. But promoting something, if you say anything, sorry, Lana, go ahead. I thought you were going to say something.
Compulsive lying.
Is it mental disorder?
Hell is something.
Maybe it ain't right.
Maybe a family trait. Like, that's not a mental illness.
Like if you're a grown mother, why do you
hold on. Keep going.
Why do you feel like you gotta lie? Like if you ain't grown. I mean, you grown. You ain't gonna get a whooping. Like no one cares. It's your life. Why you feel you gotta lie?
Because maybe people might not.
Always got.
I'm just saying the situation. People's minds are different. Everybody thinks differently.
Always got to bring it to the table. Right, because you're bringing self-awareness. No,
I'm not. That is not self-awareness of the different personalities out there in the world. You got to know.
I don't care. We know about personalities. We want to know why you're coddling.
I'm not coddling.
Because you look
lying ain't no personality trait. Know what you're saying? Lying ain't no personality trait.
I was gonna give an excuse for that person just because I think openly, and there's somebody out there.
Like Keisha said,
I'm not saying that shit right. It is. I'm not saying that shit right or wrong. And if you feel that strongly about it, maybe you should say something about it. But I don't feel like when you give your opinion, you should be ignorant or naive to the fact that there are different personality types out there. So your way of thinking is not everyone else's. You have to think from a bunch of different perspectives, dealing on who you talking about, depending on who you talking about, because their mind could be totally opposite of fucking yours, and you know that shit. So maybe if you reflect back, know yourself well enough to be able to look at them and see them for the person that they are. When y'all do have y'all encounters, that'll give you your motherfucking answer on why they are compulsive liars. They got some shit they've done terribly in their life or some shit like that they want to hide. They started a pattern of that shit and they kept that shit moving. Depending on like who you talking about, but I'm not saying any situation. It's all different. Like it depends on what they went through to make them feel like that for coddling.
Because
damn.
Like
what damn?
All I'm hearing is a bunch of excuses as to why they're lying. And it ain't no excuses, these grown motherfuckers.
They don't want to let you in. They don't want to let you in, bitch. So I ain't gonna tell you the truth because I don't want you to know because you might be judgmental or whatever the case is. There's something about you that I don't like and I don't want you to know. That's why I lied to you. Maybe I'm not. But some people are compulsive fucking liars. Some people just lie to everyone for no reason. Like they'll be an astronaut to one nigga. They'll be a ballerina to another motherfucker. Wow. They'll be a porn star to somebody else. Like people be lying for real. Like I dated a person like that one time. Scariest shit in my life. When we broke up, the nigga had to get out at 4:00 in the morning. I called his 18. He was 18. I said, baby, if you don't come get him, You 50 miles away. He gonna be outside.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't coming back in. I'm call the police. Mm-hmm. What you want to do?
But I do. I just do. I feel like that's an issue that doesn't get enough attention, but should. We like, this motherfucker crazy. This nigga crazy. But it's like, no, there's literally something wrong with their mind. Their thought processes aren't right. That's causing them to be the way that they are. Like, number one, stop calling them crazy. And, like, actually, like, genuinely check on them. And, because that goes a long way. And I just feel like we don't do that enough.
That's probably why it's repressed. Because they get talked about real bad. Mm-hmm. So they ain't going to talk about it.
Yeah. There's one family member I've noticed this in our family. I don't think she fuck with nobody but, like, maybe 2 or 3 people. Probably some people in the city that she stays in that we probably don't know like that. But I know she don't. I don't feel like, and this is purely the outside looking in. I don't feel like she at all fucks with anybody in the family. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it was just because what you just said, they were talked about a lot, and then a certain situation happened and it increased because the outcome was atrocity.
Because it's a joke. It's like we're so used to normalcy. We're so used to everybody walking around here normal.
But what's normal though?
Everybody walking around here, I guess, in their right mind, being different. Being different from the norm, from the way everybody else.
The way I think, the way I feel about when people say normal. So you're telling me, and some people it's some people. I probably give it a small percentage, but there's some people out there that can truly say their story is, no, I don't make stupid ass decisions. I make shit that makes sense throughout almost every aspect of my life. 99% of the time, I'm not a fuck up. I don't. But it's most of everybody else in the world. You done did something. And it might not be the type of mental that you think about automatically when you think about mental disorders. But if you take, for instance, something that's so true, something so common as fucking. If you get out there and fucking and put like either your life in danger or you bring in multiple lives in the world, you need to slow down and say something, sweetie. Stop. That's a mental something in your head. There's something wrong. Like, you got to check on it, but because it's normal, quote unquote, because that's what normal is.
Normal ain't bringing a bunch of fucking kids.
I guess, but having sex is. So what you gonna say to somebody who's out there addicted to sex?
Well, that's not normal.
I mean, but would you look at it as a judgmental point of view and say, oh, they just a hoe, or would you look at it and say there's something mentally is off about them because they really like this their coping mechanism? Some people.
Well, I mean, if you go deep and find the underlying issue, then I'm pretty sure.
What you mean?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it could be.
What you mean? That's how you have crazy motherfuckers out there, huh?
But that's like a cause and effect.
That was a bad example.
That's not normally in your life. Is sex normally yours, Sean?
No, seriously, I'm saying, like you said, addict.
But I'm saying, like, okay, think about it. Think about it honestly, though. There was never a point in, most people who are having sex on a casual basis have had a point in their life where they were in love with this shit. It might have been with one person. It might have been with 2 people, 3 people. Hell, if you're really up there, 4 and plus. You had an addiction to it. It's like you had to fucking have it.
What?
You not bullshitting.
Bitch.
I know. I can't agree with you on that one.
So okay.
So you know mostly everybody in the world?
I'm talking about think about it though, as one point in your life. Like, not think about your entire life from the point you started having sex. There was not that one person or one time period in your life that it was just like, and now I'm talking to you. Okay. And that was just it was blissful. It might have not necessarily been the thing you just like thought was a coping mechanism or anything like that, but it always ended up being a thing. Okay, well, why you gotta defend it and say you wasn't addicted though?
Because you said it's an addiction, like it's something wrong with me mentally because I was young and curious.
Okay. Where's curiosity
come from? You were addicted.
Where does it come from?
Where do you think?
So you saying
you think curiosity comes from your heart?
My kids are curious because they don't know.
Because they have a what though?
Because they have a what?
A brain.
Okay,
so I'm
trying to follow.
That's your mind. That's your mental.
You're right, but there's not a defect because they're
not saying that there's a defect, but I'm saying something might have happened at your life at that point in time that might have affected your decisions.
So what happens in my kids right now are very curious. So what's going on in their mind?
Okay, perfect example. In their mind,
because
they're curious.
Now they don't know.
They're curious. Perfect example.
Because you don't know.
The baby girl. Curious, okay. So I'll go on a chair on a couch that's double my height. Please sing me some of my food, please. I'll go on a sofa that's double my height, and just because I want to see like what is it like, what is the point of it, I'll go to the very back of that motherfucker and just dive. Yep. That's curiosity. That's something in her mind saying, "Let me figure that out," and that's a part of her learning process. That's what it is for kids. But as an adult, when you make a decision to have, I'll take myself for instance. There was a point in my life for the age of 17 to probably about 19 and a half. Because when I was 20, I met somebody. It ended up, I had to fade out of it, but it ended up being a long-term relationship. But from a strong, I really the fuck on back. Well, I can't really back to 16 because I was still in high school and I really wasn't fucking like that. But when I was 17 and I graduated, baby, I had a period in my life that it was a motherfucking addiction.
So why do you think that happened to everybody?
I'm saying like in that situation you brought it back up. When you brought it up, the fact that people have bringing home a lot of kids. Think about how many people that you know. But I'm saying, but you wanted to bring it back up saying that wasn't normal. And then we started talking about how that is mental, how that cannot be a mental defect. How can that not go and be a mental disorder? Not necessarily defect because I'm not addicted.
But okay.
My bad. I'm high a little bit. So.
Okay, because I'm still trying to follow where you're going. Next. I'm riding, but we ain't made it to the destination yet.
Girl,
so let me just jump out the car.
Goodbye, bitch, bro. Niggas want to be real till they get on and start talking about some shit.
I was trying to follow, but you lost me along the way, so I just hitchhiked. Last thing. So
it ain't no last thing.
No last thing for me. Last thing for me with my topics. So it's crazy because I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. We were talking about raising kids, and people think people will stay in relationships for their kids because they want their kids to turn out right. They want their kids in a family, so bad that they'll, stay in, messed up relationships just so their kids can be raised in that family. But who's to say that kids raised in single parent homes don't turn out as good as kids raised in, 2-parent homes? And so that's my thing, the pros and the cons, single parenting and, versus 2-parent home.
Because just because it's a 2-parent home don't mean it's a healthy environment.
Yeah.
Like the daddy or the mama could be getting their ass beat.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And the kids
somebody
see that.
Or
somebody, that could be like, because kids can sense like unhappiness.
Mm-hmm. And negativity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
energy. They do energy. They psychic low key.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2-parent homes don't necessarily mean.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I get the whole family thing, wanting that, and that's society. That's society saying, oh, well, your kids needs to be, well, research shows that, blah, blah, blah. But if you think about all the research that was done way back then, there's always new research, in recent, times, in today's times that says something totally different than what research said, back then. Because science changes.
I'm smarter.
Science changes all the time. So it's it's crazy because I know a lot of people raised in single parent homes that are just fine, and then people that are raised in 2-parent homes.
I feel like it's the person, like the child, is how the child deals with things, and I feel like, and not speaking from any personal experience because I have zero, but looking, at a bunch of people who parents, I feel like that it's ultimately up to the child and how they process and deal with situations on how they turn out. And it's the parent's job to identify that and coach them and guide them along their life, like to know how to do that. Because if you think about it, life can be summed up simply by making decisions. There's always, like, every aspect of your life is making a decision.
Yeah, but
I'm like, so if you teach your child and like if you catch on to the concepts and think about like your child. Nobody in the world knows somebody better than the parent that raised you. Like there'll be nobody that knows you better than the parent that raised you. I'm talking about the core of fucking you. You might grow up, change, all that say you done changed, but I feel strongly that the person that you lived your majority of your fucking life with, if you think about life expectancies and shit, unless you live past 50, you can then count that out, I guess, depending on how early you left the house. Still might not be able to count this shit out. But I just feel like it's how the child deals with situations in life and how it was their parent. I mean, and it's just one key aspect, not just saying like because that's the only thing, because there's multiple other things raising a child. But I ultimately feel like it's the parent's responsibility to catch that, groom that, and help them on that part. And I feel like I don't know.
Well, one thing. One thing that I feel like is a valid argument is the whole a mom can't teach a son how to be a man. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm saying I see the validity in that. You know what I'm saying?
That's actually
because there are certain things that
chemically
that fathers, can teach their sons, instill into their sons that a mother just can't do. You know what I'm saying? And that starts anywhere from how the father speaks to the son and certain experiences that the father has went through that he can tell the son about. Like I don't know a lot of stuff that my husband has gone through that he can tell his son, hey, you're gonna go through this. This is how you handle this. Like I can't tell him that. So with that being, like I get that. So I can see how you would want a two parent home for your child just for that. If you have a son,
when you're thinking about it like that, then are you saying that because since you fall within the heteronorm, do you think that parents that are same sex raising children is the child robbed of something because it might not have? What if it's like two lesbians adopting boys, and they just have sons? They might go the further way. They just might have sons.
They've never been men.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying, so you feel like the child is being robbed of something because he hasn't had a
marrying
with a man.
Yeah. Same thing if it was a single mom raising son.
But then if a child is raised by a gay couple or a lesbian couple and they turn out better than kids that are raised by heterosexual couples, just like say like in a small population somewhere in the middle of like fucking nowhere, just statistically speaking, so it would still be them being robbed of something because they turned out perfectly fine. Like they could be heterosexual and everything. They could turn out perfectly fucking fine. Meanwhile, you have some kids from a heterosexual home, two parent, and they turn up fucked up.
Well, we're not saying every case like that, but we're saying more cases than not. That's the issue. Yeah, more cases than not. Yeah.
Okay, so for example, two gay guys, and they had a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
Some gay guys ain't never had a period.
You know what I think about that aspect though, because since you said that, I feel like if a gay or lesbian couple is properly going to raise their child, they should. If the child is the opposite sex, they should deem maybe like one, maybe two, because y'all are a couple. Like godparents or something of the same sex of that child to like be in that child's life for those moments. Like somebody that comes over to like, say for example, my godmama, she would come over whenever the fuck she wanted to, all the fucking time, give fucking advice. That shit was law, just like it was my mama advice. I didn't have a daddy in the home, but that shit, I feel like if I did have a daddy in the home, the way my godmama was set up, she still would have had a fucking say in that. And so I think if you're a lesbian gay couple, if you have like that godparent that's the same sex as child, it could work. I think it could work. But I do believe that you need to have that perspective. But there's so many cases probably out there, people who are raised by same-sex couples and have perfectly fine kids. So, and what if that number statistically is higher than the number of heteros? Like we don't know. We ain't researched that shit.
I think it's good if you're in those type of relationships and you're trying to raise a child to have that. Like if you're a single mom, to have, maybe that male influence in their life so that they can make up for, what you can't teach them.
Because you can clearly tell, like, whenever a child has a father in the house. Like, you can tell the difference between a child who was raised with their dad in the house versus a child who wasn't. Like, there's a difference.
So what's the difference?
Because, like, I was raised with... I can tell the difference, like, between me and, let's say, my niece. Like, because her dad wasn't around. So, it's like... Let's say her dad wasn't around, so it's like she looks for her dad.
Yeah, and other men. Like, and basically, most of the guys she's been with are just alike.
Yeah. Coming back full circle, moment right there I just had.
Yeah.
When I told y'all about my whole spree, after I got out of my whole spree, I realized that was my whole spree. That's why I was having one. Because I didn't have my father growing up, and I couldn't have a relationship with him at certain times, and it was just really hard to get to him as a person. So, like, I realized, because when I went back and looked at it, every dude, because I had remembered every guy, and I wrote it down. I was gonna write a book about this shit.
Wow.
I ain't gonna say how many. I ain't gonna say, no, it wasn't like that. But I was gonna do it. I wasn't gonna use their names. I was gonna use different names. But no, I was gonna use different names. Just I wasn't even gonna use my name. I was gonna do different situations. I can't do that. But yeah, it stemmed from all the dudes had at least one of my father's characteristics, or something my mom told me about my dad when it was like courting before all the lies and the bullshit started.
But switch gears for a minute. A lot of the reason why our relationship stems from our parents. How we are in relationships comes from our parents. If you think about it, how we love, how we show our children love, how we treat our spouse or our significant other, that stems from how, our parents treated us.
So which parent did you learn that from?
Did I learn what?
How you go about
both of them
relationships.
Both of them. Yep. Absolutely.
You're married.
Yep. Both of them. Yep. I can be cold-hearted. I can get bored.
See, that's when I be nosy. I'm like, cold-hearted like who?
I can also get real sensitive as well. Not really submissive like my mom was, but
And people oftentimes, more times than not, people believe that submissiveness is a bad thing, and what they don't realize is you actually need a certain level of submissiveness if you're going to try to have and sustain a relationship. I feel like not necessarily like complete, but I feel like because being
I just heard what you said.
Close the door. Get on your knees, wrap your hair in a ponytail. But no, being raised by a mother who was totally opposite of that, like, it's been very few times in life before my mama got sick that I had ever seen her cry in her whole entire life. Like, she was hard. Maybe not all the time, maybe not personally, but she was not a sensitive person. She took that emotion and bottled that shit the fuck up and said, chunk that shit up.
But see, and that and again, yeah, absolutely. But again,
she did that with herself, though. She did that with herself. That can affect
you in your relationships too.
She did that with herself, and I noticed that
you're so dominant and you're so independent. It's like a man's looking in like, I mean, shoot, if I come in, would you even allow me to be the man? Like, what can I do for you? Like, you already got everything made.
You can be my companion because I might have everything made, but I still need somebody to share it with. That's what I want. So if you can deal with my crazy and get past that, I'm a great fucking person. Because my mom was, honestly, that was like, I told my mom one time, I said, you are a perfect person for a relationship, but you have got to learn to submit sometimes. Like, you never fucking fold. I've seen you put your hands on niggas and win altercations. Like, you never fucking back the fuck down.
At the same time, there's a balance. You can't be so submissive to where you're getting taken advantage of.
Yeah, you're right.
To where you're just letting the person walk all over you.
Resentment kicks in.
So it's like there has to be some type of doing.
So after some research, fuck y'all, man. After some research, there was a study done in Cornell. Look at my phone. where they took 79 situations, different study cases, and Deke always call it the wrong time. And
all right.
Wow.
TMI.
They compared them to what statistics have shown about I guess heteroparenting, and 75 of the studies that they did, and this is from somebody from what we know.inequality.cornell.edu. So Cornell University, some smart bitch came up with this idea. After they studies, they realized that 75 of the 79 small studies that they did, children came out like no different from the rest, just as fine. Oh. And this was gay and lesbian versus the facts about the heteros.
But what percentage of that is in comparison to like the huge number of?
I'm pretty sure they did it. I'm pretty sure they did it locally, and they can just compare it to one heterosexual group of people and matched it with just lesbian people.
Those stats ain't shit.
I mean, hey, okay, bitch. Just saying. They proved some fact because somebody
they proved something for that local area.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that's an example. It's a part of the United States. It's an example, like one example nationwide. Bitch, if you really want to know a real comparison, look up all that information. I'm not looking up all that bullshit. I just give you one case, look it up, cool. So I'm just saying it might not be that bad, but anyway.
So what about all the shooting?
Well, oh my gosh, so fucking depressing.
I honestly believe that there's an agenda, as usual.
I would believe it at this point. At this point, it wouldn't take me too much to not be sold on that idea.
The conspiracy theorist.
Hello.
What conspiracies do you have?
I believe because it's
Area 51.
Yes,
hello.
But
start the
those Second Amendment rights. They've been trying to take them away forever. And what they do?
Which one of those?
The right to bear arms.
Okay, just making sure I'm on the right side. Okay.
Wow.
I'm just double checking shit. That's all I know.
Okay. Wow. But yeah, there's always been an agenda to take away our right to bear arms.
Oh yeah. Did you know?
So what better way to do that than mass shootings?
But it comes from the loophole in the law, what common laws have, like not common laws, but like state to state laws. Because in certain states, like they basically got a law that says if you feel threatened, because I know it's in Florida, if you feel threatened, you stand your ground. That's what the fuck it is. Stand your fucking ground. So if you feel threatened as a person, no matter what race, now I'm not saying the outcome is going to be the same, but no matter what race, if you're considered a citizen of Florida and you feel, I don't even know if it's changed, but it used to be if you feel threatened, I can bust cap your ass.
You better be in the front.
It depends on, but it just depends. I can still shoot your ass.
Because I felt threatened. Going to jail.
So what about them pussy ass niggas and people out there to be scared? Like, they just have scary type personalities. You can end up getting fucked up by people like that. I honestly think that's what happened in the George Zimmerman case. I think there was a scary ass little nigga to that white or that Hispanic dude thinking he was white. Mm-hmm. And that nigga, he did. I don't even think it was that serious of an altercation. I think it probably was some bullshit. Like, he was following him to do the boy. I probably was definitely cussing him out because he's going through hormones. His family was going through some shit. And he had to go stay with his daddy for a little while. So he probably was like, man, get the fuck out of my face. I ain't doing nothing. I'm trying to go home. Or he might have been doing some shit, but it wasn't your business because it wasn't your child. And either the young boy, because, when you go through hormones, you might say some shit that might, and looking at your physique and shit like that, I'm honestly speaking, even if you're a grown person, you might get your ass whooped by somebody who's, might possibly.
Point, sir?
Oh my gosh, bitch! I was just talking about it, bitch.
Because
I was just talking about it, bitch.
We're talking about mass shootings, not Trayvon Martin. That was not a mass shooting.
Wasn't that? It wasn't a part of it.
No,
it wasn't a part of the history of mass shootings.
How is one person getting killed a mass?
It was one situation.
Shooting.
One situation. Bitch.
That's not a.
Well, what hundreds of people? What the fucking hundreds of people do you know? It was just talking about a situation. I was just.
You don't know about the 2 mass shootings that just took place?
I do know about those.
That's a mass shooting.
Yeah.
Trayvon Martin wasn't.
Okay.
But yeah, like I said, there's an agenda. I believe because like whenever
2 mass shootings.
Yes, I believe like whenever shit like that happens, there's an agenda
that?
Behind it. There's usually an agenda.
From 2 mass shootings.
From any mass shootings, like because a lot of them done took place in the United States.
And what do you think the agenda is? So not population control, or is population control part of the agenda along with something else?
It is part of the agenda because, like, taking away our guns, taking away the citizens' guns, it's taking away the right to defend themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, you take away the right to defend themselves, then the government can just come in and just do anything. They can come in, round us up, take us off the FEMA camps.
Shit, they seem like they're doing that anyway. Y'all see what they did in Mississippi?
About ICE with them immigrants.
Yep. Yes. So, like I said, it seemed like they're doing that shit anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Coming, rounding everybody up and shipping their ass right on at the door. So, I feel like they're going to do that regardless. Yeah. With guns or without. They doing that anyway.
And don't get me started on all the shut down Walmarts.
Oh, wow.
Sorry.
Oh, wow.
Into FEMA camps.
Do y'all know? I just looked at
it. It better be something else. Go.
According to Trackers data, which define a mass shooting as an incident in which at least 4 people are killed or wounded, there are 372 mass shootings in the U.S. in 2015 alone. I was trying to say since 2015. Mm-hmm. Killing 475 and wounding 1,870.
Wow.
And then every time something like that happens, though, what's the first thing that comes up? We need to take away the guns. It'd be the first damn thing. It don't matter which race did it.
Well, we only had one nigga to do it that one time. The DC sniper did.
Yeah.
He got sick of it.
Yeah.
Did he have his kid with him?
You did.
Did he have his kid with him and do that shit? Did he?
But yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
So you think the solution is take away the gun?
No, that's not what the solution is.
Okay, what do you think?
Because they're going to get guns either way it goes.
Right, just like
they're going to get it on the black market, or
they might get it from the government.
Hey,
because government, they'll seize guns and then sell them back. Depending on how much money you got, I'm pretty sure Bill Gates could get a couple of guns.
Oh, don't get me started on Bill Gates.
Why?
All right, well, don't start.
Oh, why?
No.
I want to know why.
I ain't going to get us
off
the podcast.
Do it for the vine.
No.
Do it for the vine.
Shit.
Do it. You got the freedom of speech, bitch.
No, sir, you don't.
Why you say that? You do.
Depends on what you talking about.
It depends.
And what you say.
It's coming to me.
And that's freedom of speech. Depending on what you say and who you say it about.
I saw a clip on Facebook where one girl had posted, one woman had posted some shit.
And what social media platform you posted on?
So it was on Facebook that this woman was she had put some shit on Facebook. I forgot where it was, but it was talking about like the president or something like that. And she the next day recorded that the CIA was not necessarily CIA because they didn't say they were the CIA, but they were at her door asking her questions like, "Do you have any ill will towards the country?" And shit like. She would look like she was Hispanic. No, bitch, she's just trying to. She might have been black, but
if she Hispanic, she the last one.
Right, she ain't have no. You better shut your ass up, Latino. I mean, not Hispanic. I'm sorry. You's a damn idiot.
Shit.
I think it go back to that mental shit. Stop mass shootings. Quit trying to treat certain kids different or certain people different because that's just who they are or they might be a certain color. See what the fuck is wrong with these motherfuckers. See what the fuck is wrong with these motherfuckers. That little weird ass kid that don't know how to socialize and only play video games in his room and get mad and fight himself in the room or some shit. You need to go check on him. Because that might grow up to be manifest into some grown folk shit. Somebody, say something slick wrong.
But again, that goes back to technology. We talk about that too. These kids aren't social these days because social media is taking away from that. We were right there at the cusp.
Big facts. I'm so glad.
We were social enough because we were already, I guess, in elementary school and everything when technology started to get big. So we, had already been interacting with everybody, having friends, going to sleepovers, interacting with other people in the community. And then social media hit. And it's like it just flipped everything, and that's why
MySpace fucked it up.
Like they are these days because they don't know how to interact with people, so they just want to be to themselves. And then somebody get to talking about them, they don't know how to deal with that because they never been taught how to deal with that. And the first thing they think is go get a gun and just start firing off on everybody because they don't know how to deal with their feelings because they're not out talking to people, having real conversations with actual people that doesn't involve their thumbs.
You think the parents too busy to teach them that part? Because as a parent, you know it takes time to instill shit in people.
Well, I don't feel like our parents made us get out and do certain things, made us get out and interact. It was just because we didn't have. Now we need to. Yeah, now we have to make our kids get out and do that so that they can function.
So y'all parents, you might not have been every day, but it wasn't a certain time of the week that you knew your mom was going to send you outside for a certain period of time.
I mean, she didn't have to make me go outside.
Right, I wanted
my ass out.
Yeah, you wanted to.
It used to be fun.
We didn't have all of this stuff
going outside. You don't know what the fuck you gonna get into
rain,
outside.
Shine, sleet, or snow.
Go in the woods. Like, we had Malibus. Malibus was the shit behind my house. Malibu was literally a path away from our house.
Them big pops.
Right there in the hunting spot.
Wow, I didn't know that was there.
Wow.
That clearing right there where the pigsty used to be.
Yeah. And Jamaica and them had a dog peeing on us over there too.
Yikes.
That's when I said my first cuss word. That day I was outside.
That's where I had my first cock.
Wow, you ate it or you had it?
Had it.
What you mean, in your pussy?
Like, no.
Just in your hand.
What?
In your hand. I'm just saying, that's a very blanket statement. That's the first time I had my first cock. Like, whoa. Had is what pretense?
Who's a 17-year-old girl?
Hey.
Who says cock anymore?
White people.
Besides, exactly. And fucking porn star.
And that's because they getting paid.
Damn. Shut up.
Cock. That's a damn chicken. In the way.
What the hell ever. Anyway,
but yeah,
guys,
these mass shootings. Well, okay.
But yeah, these mass shootings are fucked up. But we are about to wrap it up.
On the mass shooting
reached
topic?
the 1 hour mark.
Absolutely. It's been real, y'all.
15-20.
It's been fun.
34.
We got till 15.
That's 45 minutes.
Oh.
Hello.
Oh,
we
shit.
We broadcast all night.
Girl, I was feeling it. It was funny for me. Well, stay tuned. I am going to let you know, people, that I want to do a Russian roulette. You know, some days we will have everybody. Well, we don't always have topics, but there's going to be some points where I want to have, you know, even if somebody has topics, I want to. If maybe you're not feeling it, or you're not feeling it, or I'm not feeling it, just say Russian roulette and fuck how the conversation turns out. We're gonna have those days as well. We get one.
Oh, that'll be fun.
We get one. I don't know if we're gonna get one or maybe 2 a month, but we get 1 or 2 a month. That's what I think we're gonna do. I think that'll be some fun shit. So
yeah,
stay tuned, guys. Thanks for listening in. This is Coco Connors.
This is Gemini, the no longer 33-year-old virgin.
And this is Sean, yours truly.
All right. Bye.
We are signing off.